ایران، داستان ناگفته، بخش نهم. برنامه تلویزیونی هیل، نشریه کنگره آمریکا، 15 اوت 2019. شهردار رودی جولیانی. امروز مریم رجوی یک جنبش مخالف را رهبری می کند که دشمن شماره یک رژیم ایران محسوب می شود. 350 شخصیت و قانونگذار از 47 کشور جهان در ژوئیه سال جاری به هزاران عضو مجاهدین خلق در خانه جدیدشان در آلبانی به نام اشرف 3 پیوستند. این رژیم بیش از هر رژیم دیگری در جهان دست در خون دارد و بزرگترین حامی تروریسم در جهان است.
Welcome to our series, Iran, the Untold Story, and our continuing look at the main Iranian opposition group. Today we examine Maryam Rajavi, the president-elect of the National Council of Resistance of Iran.
مریم رجوی متولد خانواده تحصیل کرده و طبقه متوسط در تهران فعالیت خود را در دانشگاه آغاز کرد. او خواستار آزادی، عدالت و پایان دیکتاتوری شاه شد. رژیم شاه برادرش، یک عضو مجاهدین خلق را در دهه 70 زندانی کرد. پلیس مخفی یا ساواک خواهرش را در سال 1975 1353 به قتل رساند. پس از انقلاب 1357 مریم رجوی یکی از مؤثرترین سازماندهندگان مجاهدین خلق شد. وی در سال 1980 1358 کاندیدای انتخابات مجلس شورای ملی بود و با وجود ممنوعیت و تقلب در رأیگیری 250,000 رأی به دست آورد. در حالی که آخوندها سرکوب را تشدید می‌کردند، بسیاری از دوستان وی کشته شدند. در سال 1982 1360 خواهر کوچکتر وی که باردار بود اعدام شد. در حالی که آخوندها برای زنان جایی در قدرت سیاسی قائل نبودند، مریم رجوی نقش زنان را حتی در کار نظامی و ارتش پذیرفت. حمایت وی از زنان و برنامه 10 ماده‌ای وی برای ایران امروزه از حمایت گسترده در بین مردم ایران و صدها رهبر در سطح جهان برخوردار است. تلاش‌های او این گروه را به یکی از مترقی‌ترین احزاب سیاسی جهان تبدیل کرده. گروهی که در آن زنان نقش رهبری را ایفا می‌کنند. برای او و جنبش او برابری جنسیتی یک برنامه عملی و در قلب جنبش ایران آزاد است.
Women will continue to lead this movement and it is among the greatest threats to the current regime.
در سال 1993 خانم رجوی هنگامی که ائتلاف شورای ملی مقاومت وی را به عنوان رئیس جمهور منتخب خود انتخاب کرد، از سمت مسئول اول مجاهدین استعفا کرد. همانطور که او در ده‌ها مصاحبه روشن کرده است، وی در حال برنامه‌ریزی برای کمک به اداره ایران پس از سقوط آخوندها و آماده کردن کشور خود برای انتخابات ملی آزاد و عادلانه است. امروز خانم رجوی یک جنبش مخالف را رهبری می‌کند که دشمن شماره یک رژیم ایران محسوب می‌شود.
Today the ruling mullahs fear the role of the Mujahideen Khalq, MK and resistance units in leading and continuing the uprisings.
I want to thank first and foremost Madam Maryam Rajavi. She is a woman who deserves our admiration for her grace, for her strength, for her determination, and most of all for her leadership in this movement.
در نمایشی از حمایت جهانی دو حزبی از جنبش وی، 350 شخصیت و قانونگذار از 47 کشور جهان در ژوئیه سال جاری به هزاران عضو مجاهدین خلق در خانه جدید خود در آلبانی به نام اشرف 3 پیوستند.
We are now joined by Mayor Rudy Giuliani, the former prosecutor and mayor of New York, and who now serves as an attorney to President Trump. Welcome, Mr. Mayor. We really appreciate it.
Very nice to see you. Thank you for having me.
Sir, I understand you were recently in Albania, where you met Maryam. What is she like, and why do you support her?
I was there for the four-day conference called Free Iran 2019. It's probably the 11th year that I've gone to a conference like this. Usually they hold it in Paris.
Right.
And this year we held it in Albania because Albania is a place where the Iranian dissidents have built a city, really, called Ashraf III. It's a beautiful city. It has residences. It has a tremendous amount of conference rooms. So the conference was about basically how can we replace the regime of Iran with a democratic government, which the MEK has been attempting to do for 20 years. I have about 11 years involvement with them. But they have a tremendous amount of support in the United States, bipartisan, about 200 members of Congress, equal number of Republicans and Democrats. I was there with former Senator Lieberman, Democrat, former Senator Torricelli, who's actually one of their principal people. He's been involved with them longer than I have. And what they are is basically the National Council of Resistance in Iran is headed by Madam Rajavi. She's the president-elect, and it's made up of a group of organizations, including the MEK, that are resistance groups, like the French resistance against the Ayatollah. They've been active since the revolution. 120,000 of their people have been killed, but they still are going strong. And both the Ayatollah and Rouhani have announced within the last year that they are the biggest threat to the regime. In the years past, there was always doubt that was created about how strong are they in Iran, how much support do they have. I think that all has been put to rest now with basically Rouhani's statement and the Ayatollahs saying that the MEK, and sometimes they'll call PMOI, is our most dangerous threat, the only one capable of putting a government together, and therefore we got to wipe them out, which is what they do. If they find that you're a member of this organization, or suspect that you're a member of this organization, by and large, you don't get a trial. You're either imprisoned or you're shot, depending on the circumstances. And so 120,000 since the beginning of the revolution, and they have a government in exile. They have tremendous support. They have tremendous support in the, let's call it the Iranian diaspora. And they have a charter, 10 points, which largely looks like our Bill of Rights. The significant thing is they're headed by a woman. This is the Middle East. This is right next to the Arab world. Not only are they headed by a woman, roughly half their leadership are women.
Yeah.
And when they were an active revolutionary group, some of their tank commanders were women. Everybody in this organization is prepared to fight to free Iran.
So, sir, Ms. Rajavi, she's presented a 10-point plan for Iran. It covers things like universal suffrage, free market economy, non-nuclear. Does she have a chance to lead Iran into a democratic state?
She does. I mean, she does have a chance. I mean, I don't think people realize how much turmoil there is inside of Iran. Since January of 2018, I think I have my facts correct here, there have been over 250 major protests all throughout the country, not just in Tehran. And now they have spread into the economic sectors. So there have been taxi drivers that have gone out on strike and protest. There are teachers. All the teachers of the country went on strike. There are farmers, and you can see it. I mean, the videos that I saw when I was in Albania, because they have probably the MEK people, the PMOI people, have the best window into Iran, because they have very sophisticated communications equipment. For example, our entire conference was broadcast to the consternation of the Ayatollah all over Iran. So he heard people from 47 different countries basically condemn him as one of the biggest tyrants in the world, which he is. And that there's great support within Iran. It's always hard in these situations to determine what's the tipping point. We didn't know what the tipping point was in Berlin. We didn't know what it was in the Soviet Union.
Right.
We didn't know what it was in Eastern Europe. And even with the Arab Spring, we didn't quite know what the tipping point was. And when it happened, we were surprised. I tend to think that's going to happen here. I think we underestimate just how fed up the Iranian people are with being oppressed for 40 years. After all, this regime has been in power 40 years. It enforces an extremist religious view. Women are treated like worse than second-class citizens, like chattel. And I think that's one of the reasons that Madame Rajavi has so many support from very strong women. You go to Ashraf 3, and the commandant, the head of it, is a woman. A lot of the major roles are filled by women. But there has to be pretty close to an equal representation of women if you're going to quickly move around away from the terrorist supporting government it is now to being a contributing member of a community in the Middle East that's moving toward democracy.
So you spoke at Ashraf 3 at that conference about new optimism in previous events. What did you mean by that?
What I meant by that was many of the times that we spoke in this event, we were trying to save their lives in Iraq, get them out of Iraq, negotiating with the Albanian government. In the course of the delay that was imposed on us, even during the Obama administration, the Iraqis and the Iranians came in several times to Ashraf 2 and then to Camp Liberty, where they were moved, and in the course of 2 to 3 years killed 120 of them. The last one, they have a museum there of the atrocities committed by the Iranian government, which are crimes against humanity. At one point, at the end of their being in Ashraf 2, they came in and they tried to eliminate all the remaining residents. And they also went into the hospital and killed the people in the hospital. If you go to Ashraf, you can see the pictures of the people in their hospital beds, on the operating tables, shot in the head. Back in 1988, within a 2-month period, the regime killed 30,000 members of MEK, 30,000 people. We're talking about,
small city
crime against humanity type crimes, crimes for which they should be prosecuted in the World Court, or they should be prosecuted in the United States, because, among other things, they attempted to kill me, Newt Gingrich, Bob Torricelli, a lot of Americans. 2 bombing plots that were uncovered. One was in February of 2018.
Yes.
They caught people in Albania who were coming to the New Year's celebration, and I attended that with Madame Rajavi, and they were going to blow us up. And then in Paris last year, in late June of 2018, 4 people were arrested in Brussels, 1 an Iranian diplomat, and they had both explosives and plans of the Paris Convention Center, where I was speaking, Newt Gingrich was speaking, former Attorney General Mukasey, Tom Ridge, many prominent Americans. So, among other things, they were plotting to kill Americans. Somebody should take this seriously. I mean, the French government is prosecuting it, but not with the determination that should accompany something like this.
Sure. Why do you think the Iranian regime is so afraid of her? Why do they keep having these cyber attacks against her and her followers around the world?
Because they are a true threat. I mean, there's no other real organized opposition to their government. This is an opposition that can bring together in Paris 100,000 people, which is what they've done for the last 10 meetings over the last 10 years that I've been at, representatives of 40 different nations. Former Prime Minister of Canada, the former Prime Minister of 4 or 5 of the European countries, the Deputy Prime Minister in France, just a large amount. And of course, the biggest delegation was the U.S. delegation, and it was about an equal number of Republicans and Democrats, including several present members of Congress. And there's a resolution in Congress supported by approximately 200 members of Congress about the MEK and about the fact that they are a vehicle for democracy in Iran and should have the support of our government.
So if the Iranian regime were to fall and Ms. Rajavi she was able to govern, could she be able to govern during a transition period? Do you think she could prevent the chaos?
Well, these are the questions, of course, we ask them all the time, and I've seen evidence that they have a functioning government in exile. They evaluate the problems in Iran every day. They are enormously active in communicating within Iran. And they have a plan for transition. And the plan for transition would say they'd put up an interim government for immediately, and they would attempt to get to a full election within 6 months, so that it isn't an imposed government, it's a democracy.
Final question for you, sir. What else should the American public know about Ms. Rajavi?
What they should know is that this is a true disciple of peace, democracy. Her whole life has been spent trying to obtain democracy for her country, first against the Shah, who killed, I think, her sister, and then against the Ayatollah, who killed another relative, I think another sister. Her family has been the victim of both the Shah's oppression and murder, and been the victim of the even more increased murder under the Ayatollah. And people should know that this is a regime that has more blood on its hands than any regime in the world, and that it is the biggest supporter of terrorism in the world. Why do we want to negotiate or trust a regime that's the biggest supporter of terrorism in the world? And I made that challenge to the European governments. Hasn't Iran proven to us that they are too irresponsible, that they are too murderous to have nuclear weapons in their hands? It would be too dangerous for the world. And I think the European governments have to develop the kind of courage that President Trump has.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.